Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving into a really foundational theme today.
Yeah, it's based on a devotion looking at Revelation chapter 14.
Right, focusing on these huge ideas of worship and judgment.
That's right. And the source material, it puts forward a pretty stark question, doesn't it?
It really does.
In a world that's always, pushing you towards idols like comfort or success, money, even just acceptance, the question is, who are you actually going to worship?
Yeah. So our mission here in this deep dive is to really get into the key insights this particular devotion offers.
Insights about what it means to sort of stand apart.
Exactly. And where you can find real security when, frankly, everything else feels pretty unstable.
Okay.
So the devotion starts with this first big takeaway. True worshipers stand with the Lamb. It jumps right into that striking image from Revelation 14.
It does. And what's interesting is how the source interprets those first few verses, Revelation 14.1 to 5. It describes this specific group, the 144,000, and emphasizes their standing with Jesus, the Lamb.
And they're described in specific ways.
Yes. They're marked, sealed. They're fiercely loyal, portrayed as pure. They're singing this new song that apparently no one else can learn.
And they follow him everywhere.
Right, that's a crucial part. Following the Lamb wherever he leads.
And the source really hammers home why this specific picture, standing with the Lamb, is so vital.
Yeah, it argues it's not just about, religious practice or ritual. Much deeper. It's about truly belonging to Jesus, an active identification. And their lives, according to this devotion, have to actually reflect that connection.
Even when it's tough, like facing opposition.
Especially then. That's the test, isn't it?
So how does that look, practically speaking? What does the source suggest?
Well, it gives some tangible ideas, like starting your day grounded in Scripture, making that deliberate choice to stay near him.
Right.
It means following the Lamb even if it feels like you're the only one doing it.
Right.
Not chasing what the crowd approves of.
That can be hard.
For sure. And critically, it means letting your choices, your habits, even your words, reflect that internal purity that comes from being marked by his name.
Okay, so that's the standing with the Lamb part. But the devotion makes it clear why that choice is so critical, so urgent.
It does. It zooms out pretty quickly to the second major point.
Which is?
That God's judgment is real and final.
Right. No pulling punches there.
Not at all. And this is where the devotion brings in those three angels from later in Revelation 14, the ones delivering these, really intense messages.
What are they saying?
The first one calls out, fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment has come. It's a callback to worship the Creator.
And the others.
They follow up basically announcing that the world system, Babylon, as it's called, is falling. Everything built apart from God is destined to collapse.
And the source highlights the two different outcomes, right, depending on the choice made.
Exactly. There is a clear depiction of judgment, of consequence, for those who reject God's call and instead worship the worldly system or the beast.
But there's another outcome, too.
Yes, for those who trust Jesus, who endure, there's this promise of being gathered into safety, into his kingdom. Secure.
And the devotion's point isn't just theoretical.
No, the source emphasizes this isn't just some, abstract idea or an ancient story. Judgment is presented as real, a coming justice.
But there's still time.
That's the crucial part, because it hasn't happened yet. The source stresses there's still time. Time to choose differently, time to turn.
So if judgment is real and time is, limited, how does this devotion say we should respond? What actions does it suggest?
It gets practical again. It suggests things like sharing the gospel, this message of hope, but also warning.
Okay. What else?
Living to please God rather than seeking human approval. That idea of fearing God actually freeing you from fearing what people think.
Interesting paradox.
Isn't it? It also warns against trying to find your deepest fulfillment in worldly things, success, popularity, even comfort. Because the source argues they're part of that falling system. They can't last.
They can't provide real security.
Exactly. And finally, it brings it all back to the core action. Accepting Jesus. Recognizing his sacrifice as the only way to escape that judgment.
So let's bring this right back to you, the listener. Thinking about these ideas from the source standing with the Lamb, the reality of judgment, how do they intersect with the choices you face, maybe even today?
What does it really mean for you to stand apart in a world where fitting in or getting ahead or just being liked often feels like well, like everything.
Where are you actually placing your trust? Where are you looking for that deep sense of fulfillment and security?
It really does circle back to that fundamental question the devotion posed right at the beginning, doesn't it?
Will you worship him alone?
Fear God and stand firm.